I think I can hold it together. I don't think I'm gonna cry this time. I think I'll be fine. God. Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Aylia and welcome back to my channel. So this is the 5th episode of Skincare and Talks with my therapist, and y'all, I'm so excited for this episode today. We're gonna see if I can make it through the episode without shedding a single tear. That is the goal for this episode. I'm gonna see if I can get through it without crying, because if you know, you know, I'm a crybaby and I cry at literally everything. But I'm really excited for this episode because we're talking about some good stuff that I'm realizing, some good things that are going on in therapy, and I'm excited to share that with you all. I'm gonna show you guys what I do at night when my skin is looking real dry. You know, your girl's skin has been going through it for the last couple of weeks, and so I'm really gonna focus on just like hydrating my skin. For double cleansing, I'm using the Super Berry Dream Cleansing Balm from Youth to the People, and then I'm following up with the Superfood Cleanser from Youth to the People as well. I have to refill my bottle, I'm almost out. Because I'm extra, I'm gonna go ahead and use my gold eye patches just for a little, you know, cute moment. And then I'm gonna use the Super Berry Dream Mask as tonight's like face mask. As you can tell, I have pretty much used it out, so I'm gonna be using my handy dandy face mask brush to scoop the rest of this out so I can go ahead and put that on. And we can't neglect my lips, so tonight I am using the Summer Fridays lip balm. I recently purchased this and I'm not gonna lie, she's cute. She did cost a cute little $1, but you know, I was treating myself. So I did pick this up from Sephora. And this one specifically, I love the smell. I love just how sheer it is. So yeah. So your girl hit her 2-year mark in therapy on May 11th. Can I get an applause? Thank you. I think in my first episode I did mention like I wasn't exactly too sure when I had started therapy. I thought I started therapy anywhere between June to August of 2021. Come to find out, your girl has been in therapy since May 11th, 2021. It's a really big deal because one, I did not realize that I have been in therapy for this long. Two, this is the longest commitment I feel like I've made to myself, to my personal growth, to my personal healing. Like, and to know that I've been in therapy for 2 years, like, I gotta give myself a pat on the back, because baby, like, that's crazy to me. When my therapist told me that I made 2 years on Monday, I was like, I didn't know what to say at that moment, because I was like, what? Like, what do you mean I made 2 years? And she was like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, well, for one, yeah, I feel proud as fuck. Like, I did that. Me making 2 years is a bigger deal. One, because of the commitment that I chose to make to myself, but two, because of the things that I was going through at that time. What was happening 2 years ago? Why, like, it's crazy to me that I'm here now. So at first, what my therapist, when we were going through like my review of like, you know, just the goals and stuff that we set 2 years ago. Also, I had forgotten like what my goal that I set was 2 years ago. So when my therapist asked me, she was like, do you remember what your goal was 2 years ago? And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't remember. She opened up the panel for me to see, and in the panel, the goal was for me to reduce the negative impacts that the event had on me, that, you know, led to extreme anxiety, so on and so forth, right? She said it started off as acute stress disorder because, you know, in that immediate time, like, I wasn't getting through the symptoms. And then the category that she had under the diagnosis for me was PTSD. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, because to think that that is what I was going through at that time is a little, it's not shocking because now it all makes sense, but it was like I just didn't know that that was what this was. And I kept beating myself up so much, to the point, like I kept beating myself up so much thinking like, why do I feel this way? Like I shouldn't feel this way, or you know, this is not even that, like why is it so hard for me to do this thing? So as a result of the event that happened, I basically felt extreme anxiety around being alone. So it was kind of like a double-edged sword because I felt like the threat was both outside of my house and inside. So I was scared to go outside. I was like scared to go alone outside, but I was also scared to stay in my house. I noticed it was really bad when like I would be left alone in the house and like I was locking everything. I was locking my bedroom door, I was locking the house doors, I was locking the house door, like I was locking both locks, I was locking the balcony door, even though I'm like, realistically this is not a threat, but I was like, let me lock this thing. And I was going through it, and like it got to the point where I felt like I literally couldn't leave my house. Like I was finding every and any excuse to stay home. So for example, if I had to go to like Target to pick something up, I would be like, oh, you know what, it's okay, I can get it delivered. I would be justifying these reasons for me not to leave my house because I'm like, you know what, it's okay, I can get things delivered, I don't have to leave, I'm a homebody anyway, so it doesn't matter to me if I'm not leaving my house. But every time the idea came to me that I needed to go outside, I was freaking out. And then on the other hand of that, I was scared to be alone in the house by myself. So I had to keep the lights on. I had to, you know, I was keeping the lights on in my house. I was like locking all those doors, like I said. And it was so bad to a point where I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. Why does it feel like such a hassle? Why does it feel so hard for me to literally take a step out my door? But at the same time, I feel like I'm not safe in my own home, you know? Those were the things that I was going through during that time, right? So as part of the process through therapy, we've been working on just like, you know, de-escalation, diffusion, and how to like overcome that struggle. I cannot tell you when the switch happened for when I was like, okay, I can finally take a step outside my house. I don't know when that switch happened, but all I know is that it did, right? And even when it did, I was having such like, again, like panic attacks, anxiety attacks, thinking about being outside, taking steps outside. Like there were times where I would kind of like go outside the house and I wouldn't leave past like the block, and then I would come right back in. I'm like, okay, I was like, okay, I went outside, that's it. And on top of me not being able to like go outside my house, like I didn't feel comfortable being alone. I had to be on the phone with my mom or with Sydney or with somebody because I was just like, I literally cannot be alone right now. Like it's too much for me to be alone. And I just got really scared. Long story short, I eventually was able to get outside my house, right? I was eventually able to leave my home and feel comfortable leaving my home. And it did take a long time. Like it took a while for me to get adjusted to like being outside again. Even though I was outside, I was still on the phone with my friend. I was still calling somebody. I was still walking everywhere. I was like going into a shop on FaceTime with Sydney or somebody, right? Though that was the extent in which I was just deeply traumatized. And again, I did not know at that point in time that that was like acute stress disorder, PTSD. Like, I didn't know that that was what this was. My therapist never really disclosed that information to me, but she, as we were going over my plan the other day, she was saying, okay, these were the things that we had, this was the diagnosis, this was the goal, this was how we did it. While we were looking at my plan, you know, she was like, okay, we made 2 years in therapy, how do you feel about that? And I was like, I feel proud. I'm like, wow, time moved fast, but also I feel deeply, deeply, deeply proud of myself. The part that really stuck with me and hit me when we were going through my plan was when she asked me, she was like, okay, Aylia, so do you feel like you've reached this goal? Do you feel like you have reduced the negative impacts that this event had on you, your social life, your family? Do you feel like you have reached this goal? And I confidently said yes. And we closed it out, and she was like, okay, now we're gonna set a new goal. I wasn't crying when we were going through the plan. I didn't even cry like immediately after we hung up, right? It wasn't until I called Sydney. I was like, Sid, I made 2 years in therapy, right? Congratulations, all of that stuff. And then I'm telling her the details of like my plan, and next thing you know, me and Sid are on FaceTime, like boo-hoo crying. I'm telling you, sobbing. Like I was sobbing, and we were both crying because like Sydney kept saying to me, she was like, Aylia, I literally watched you go through that shit. Like, I feel like I went through that shit with you, and for you to tell me this right now, for you to call me and tell me that you've made 1, 2 years in therapy, you stayed committed, and 2, for you to tell me that like you reached this goal is crazy. And it is like, it's a little like mind-blowing to me to think that I am on the other side of what I was going through before. Because 2 years ago, like the fact that I couldn't leave my house comfortably, the fact that I was so scared to be alone, right? Like I was, Aylia, we said we weren't gonna do this. Not while I have the eye patches on my eyes. Be so for real. I couldn't be alone. I couldn't step foot outside my house. I didn't feel safe in my house, but I also didn't feel safe outside. To now being like, okay, I want to go on my solo day. I'm thinking about moving out on my own. I'm planning solo trips. Like last year for my birthday, Sydney had to come with me to the hotel that I was staying at because I literally was like, I don't feel safe being by myself. And I went to that same hotel this year, and I stayed, did my little mini solo staycation, and I was fine. I was comfortable. I am now going on my solo dates. I like going places by myself now because I'm like, I don't want to go with nobody. Like, to be on the other side of that, that's crazy. That's wild. I do this thing where I downplay my accomplishments because I'm just like, oh, you know, like it's not that big of a deal. But one, your girl was literally traumatized, and I need to stop doing this thing where I like invalidate, I guess, my trauma, or I try to play it as if like it wasn't traumatic, because obviously it was traumatic. If my therapist was like, yeah girl, we had to, you know, do something about that. I'm on the phone with Sydney, and you know, she's like, Aylia, like I watched you go through that. I watched you like go from calling me every day to go outside, or calling me to be on the phone with you in the house, to you telling me that you're gonna go on a solo date, or you're going to this movie by yourself, or you're going to this restaurant by yourself. Like I watched you do that. And Aylia, please. Something else that Sydney said to me as we were talking about this accomplishment, she was like, Aylia, I tell you this all the time, but like something that I deeply admire about you is your ability to be so in tune with your emotions, but also be so vulnerable and so transparent about the things that you have gone through and the person that you are. And you are literally paving the way, or you are creating this community of people who go through similar things, who feel safe and vulnerable enough to do the same thing. And when I tell you that wrecked me, I was like, Sydney, you can't stop talking to me. Stop saying words to me right now, because I can't take this. All of that felt real the minute my therapist was like, okay, let's close out this goal and start a new one. Because at one point I didn't think. Remember how I said we wasn't gonna cry? Y'all saw the tear? At one point, I didn't think I was gonna be okay. I was really scared and unsure, and I was just like, I don't know why I'm going through this. I don't know why this is happening. And to be on the other side of that and know that I'm in a much better place now, I am okay, and I'm comfortable being alone is a big deal. This is a big deal. Anyway, we're back. So, you know, to be on the other side of everything and just like be in a place where I feel okay, be in a place where I'm able to take my behind outside and now it's like I enjoy my company, you know, like I can fully and confidently say like I like being alone sometimes. I look forward to like being in the house by myself, you know, like having my me time. It feels so good because at one point in time, being alone literally scared the crap out of me. And I feel like during that time when I was so scared of being alone, like I was holding on to things, holding on to people who I knew were not necessarily that great for me, simply because of that fear, simply because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take this because I can't be by myself. It wasn't only just the event that had happened, but like there were all these other things happening, like family being sick and like a tumultuous relationship. Like there were so many other things going on that I like, it's a little like wild to think that those were all the things that I was going through at that time, and I was like trying to play it as if it wasn't a big thing. And it was a big thing. It was a big scary thing that I was facing at that time. And now your girl is like, your girl feels better. I'm not that scared anymore. Even though it's been 2 years since the incident, it is not to say that I still don't have my anxieties. I still don't have, you know, like my little fears sometimes when I'm going outside. Those things do happen, but it's not crippling, right? It doesn't happen to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna stay inside my house, I'm not gonna go outside. It's not to that. It's just general anxiety about like, okay, there are all these things going on the train, I gotta be hyper aware, you know, or okay, I gotta be wary of like police or something. Those are the things that generally come up, but it's not stopping me from going to my job. It's not stopping me from going outside to enjoy myself and enjoy the weather. Like I'm fully participating in my social life, in my work life. Like I am able to move around and do things versus at a point in time when I literally couldn't. I got through it, and that to me is like the reminder that yes, things feel scary and things may feel challenging and I may be struggling, but I've gotten through what I thought was the worst before. So I know I am capable of getting through something, and it's gonna feel real terrible and suckish and bad while I'm going through it, but I know that there's that other side of the coin. And I am forever grateful for, one, my therapist, two, my friends and my family who during that time were just deeply supportive, because if I did not have the support system that I had, if I did not have the friends and the family that I had during that time, I do not think I could have confidently sat here and say, I'm okay. When my friends, when my family saw that I was down and out, they were like, oh, you're not okay? Okay, so we got you. And I like, Aylia, come on. Please, like, I if I don't say it enough to my friends and my family, they mean so much to me. And this is the reason why I do the things I do, because they are my rock, they are my support system, and I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for them pouring into me. So beautiful, people, to start wrapping this thing up, I want to say that, one, this feels good, and I'm celebrating myself as much as I can, and I'm living in this moment as much as I can. I got myself some nice little tulips that I've been, you know, I picked out the bouquet. Sydney reminded me to give myself my flowers. Give yourself the praise that you deserve. You talk about, you know, other people giving themselves their flowers and their accomplishments, but do that for you. And so I did. Little Aylia is so proud that she stuck it out, that she made this commitment to herself to go through something and learn through it and grow through it and eventually heal through it. And we know that there's a lot of healing that still needs to be done. There are new things that we are moving on to. But I am so, so, so deeply proud. You don't necessarily know when or where or how you're gonna get to that other side, but when you get there, damn, it feels good. This shit feels so good, because again, I just didn't think I was gonna make it here. And that's just me being fully transparent. Like, I did not think I was gonna get this far. I did not think that I was deserving of this. I did not think that I was worthy of this. Like, I genuinely felt like, you know what, it is what it is. And I can't tell you when that switch happened. I can't tell you when it made sense for all of these things to start feeling better as I was doing them. But what I can say is, give it your best, show up for yourself as much as you can, and eventually, hopefully, you'll get to where you need to be. So we are done, we are glazed, we are gonna go ahead and get ready for bed. Thank you to my friends, my family, to y'all. This to me is my other form of therapy, another way to keep me accountable, you know, and I hope that this message, this video does resonate with somebody who may have gone through something similar, is going through something similar, or knows someone who may have gone through something similar like this. And I hope that, you know, throughout all of this, you are taking that time for yourself, you are taking care of yourself, and you're giving yourself your flowers for your accomplishments. You deserve to feel good, and you deserve to be celebrated, whether it's big, whether it's small, it doesn't matter, because life is hard, life be lifing. This is where I am now. And 2 years ago, Aylia 2 years ago is thrilled to be standing here right now, being able to make this video, being able to talk with my friends about this accomplishment. Like, this is a big deal, and so I'm gonna live in it and I'm gonna celebrate it. So if you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share with a friend or a friend of a friend if you know someone who this video would really resonate with. Share with them, and, you know, tell them to check your girl out. So with all of that being said, beautiful people, good night. I hope you get some rest. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode of Skincare and Talks with my therapist. Bye. Love